This video is part 4 to solving systems of equations using matrices. We're going to look at another example of how to use matrices to solve a system of equations. Notice this time we have 3 equations and we have 3 variables. So this problem is a little different than the past ones we've seen. But again, we still want to create a matrix for these equations, and we're going to use the graphing calculator. So we have to start off creating our matrix. So my matrix is going to be a little bigger this time. And we still put the vertical line in for the equal sign. So the coefficient in front of the x is 5. So I'm putting a 5 where it is placed. There's nothing else in this equation until the 5 after the equal sign. So I'm going to put the 5 after the equal sign, or after my vertical line. And I go to the next equation. So the coefficient in front of the x is 2. The coefficient in front of the y is 1. There's a little space, and then after the equal sign is a 4. And then my last equation, my coefficients are 3, 1, -5, and -15. Now in a matrix you want numbers in each spot. So these, notice we have a few blank spots that we need to fill in. We need to put numbers there. The number we're going to place there is a 0. 0 is just a placeholder. It doesn't change anything. Notice there's no y in the top equation and there's no z. That's why we're putting zeros there. And then my second equation, notice again there's no z, so I'm putting a 0 there. If you put a 1, that would be incorrect because you're saying there's at least one y like there is in the second equation, but there's no z in the second and no z and no y in the first, so that's why we're putting zeros. From here again we're just typing our matrix that we created into our calculator. So we're going to hit second matrix and we're going to edit our first matrix. Remember we enter row by column. So if we look at the matrix we developed, there are 3 rows and 4 columns. So I'm going to enter 3 by 4. So this is a 3 by 4 matrix, and then I'm just going to enter the numbers from the matrix I wrote. So 5, 0, 0, 5, 2, 1, 0, 4, 3, 1, -5, -15. We're going to do a similar process as to what we did with the other equations, where we're going to perform a reduced row echelon form to this matrix. So first we need to quit out of my edit menu. So second quit. Go back into the matrix menu and go to math. And we're looking for a reduced row echelon form. Once it's on our main screen, we want to enter the matrix in which we're doing this reduced row echelon form to. So second matrix, and we're choosing matrix A, and we're closing the parentheses, and we're hitting enter. I'm not going to rewrite the matrix since it's right there. I'm just going to write the equations, my new equations. So again, this system of equations is changing based on our new matrix. So we have 1x plus 0y plus 0z equals 1. Again, that comes from my reduced row form matrix. And then I have 0x plus 1y plus 0z equals 2. And then 0x plus 0y plus 1z equals 4. So we're looking at a new system of equations now. In the first equation, I know there's no y and no z, so those don't really count. We don't really have to look at them. In the second equation, I know there's no x and no z. So again, I can ignore those two. And then my last equation, there's no x and no y. So I can ignore those two. So I know x is 1, y is 2, and z is 4. But again, just like the previous problems, we want to write an ordered pair, although these are called an ordered triple since there's 3 solutions. And we write it in alphabetical order. So x is 1, y is 2, and z is 4. There is my solution to this system of equations.